أهلا وسهلا في الجميع مرة ثانية. إحنا في الورشة الثانية، ورشة الكتب المصورة بتقدمها كوليت بيلت من الأراضي المنخفضة، هولندا سابقا. آه، كوليت من الأراضي المنخفضة، هي مديرة ومؤسسة بيكتشر بوكس بلس. مهمة هذه المؤسسة إنه هي بتشتغل على تطوير الكتب اللي بتستهدف التلاميذ والطلاب اللي عندهم اضطراب في نمو اللغة، بناء على أساليب تعليمية مثبتة بالنسبة معتبعينها في المؤسسة، وبيشتغلوا مع جمهور من الطلاب اللي عندهم إعاقات بصرية، أو من الطلاب اللي عندهم توحد. اليوم احنا في ملتقى المنال ببساطة، والقراءة المبسطة ببساطة، القراءة المبسطة والإعاقة. احنا بنرحب فيكم مرة ثانية في هذه الورشة في اليوم الأول من فعاليات الملتقى. بنحب نأكد بأنه إحنا عندنا فعاليات اليوم وبكرة ب 25 و 26. بدأنا اليوم بورشة القراءة المبسطة أو الإيزي ريد لمارتن دوبسون، وهلأ إحنا بالورشة الثانية اللي هي ورشة الكتب المصورة. والورشة الثالثة راح تكون الكتب الدامجة الساعة 5 بتوقيت الإمارات. الآن الورشة هذه راح تستمر لمدة ساعتين. بحب أأكد على كذا موضوع. الموضوع الأول إنه إحنا في عنا مجال للأسئلة، فممكن تكتبوا بالتشات أو تكتبوا بالكيو اند اي، تكتبوا سؤالكم كتابة. وبحب أكد كمان إنه هاي الورشة مسجلة، وهي تبث لايف على اليوتيوب حاليا، على قناة المدينة في اليوتيوب. ف اللي بيحب يتابعها على طريق اليوتيوب أو يبعث الرابط لأصدقائه أو المهتمين على قناة اليوتيوب، ممكن يشاركوا في هذه الطريقة. اللي بحب إنه يكون يحصل على شهادة على لهذه الورشة، راح نحط في التشات الروابط الخاصة بهذا الموضوع، عشان تكتبوا أو تبعتوا المعلومات الخاصة فيكم لتحصلوا على الشهادة. والشهادة بتكون برسوم بسيطة، حوالي ب $30 أعتقد، أو شيء من هذا القبيل. في ترجمة، في ترجمة بالجزئية اللي تحت، اللي فيها الكرة الأرضية هاي. في خيارين للترجمة باللغة العربية وباللغة الإنجليزية، فممكن تترجموا أو تسمعوا الترجمة في حال إنه أنتم بتفضلوا اللغة العربية عن اللغة الإنجليزية أو العكس. ف وعشان يكون الموضوع أبسط وأسهل بالنسبة لكم، أنتم كمان ممكن تسكروا الصوت اللي بيحكي فيه المتحدث، وتسمعوا الترجمة فقط. فالتفاصيل موجودة هلأ على الشات، ممكن تبدأوا فيها أو ممكن تطلعوا عليها. مرة تانية أنا بحب أرحب بمس كوليت. أهلا وسهلا فيكي. Welcome Miss Colette. I'm sorry. I think I said a lot of things in Arabic. I don't know how I can repeat everything in English. But anyway, I was welcoming you and I was talking about our program. And we are looking forward actually to see everyone with us tomorrow, 26th of May, from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. UAE time. This workshop will take 2 hours maximum. You can give us your questions on the chat or in Q&A space. Ms. Colette, you have the mic. I'm really glad that you are with us. Actually, we are planning to do that since before Corona, and things didn't didn't go well with the Corona thing. So I'm happy now we are cooperating to do this, and I'm looking forward to do something more with you in the future. Please let us know more about the adopted picture books.
Okay, thank you, Mohammed, for your introduction. Hello, participants of this conference. First, I would like to thank the board of their invitation. Thank you. My name is Beylt. I'm the founder of Picture Books Plus, and I'm very happy to be involved in this event. First, I will tell something about myself. First, I have a bachelor's degree in elementary education. And after my bachelor's degree, I was attracted to learn more about children's literature. And therefore, I went again to university. I did a master's degree in art and culture with the specialism of children's literature. My master's thesis was about a research on adaptation of picture books for children with special needs. I raised the foundation Picture Books Plus in 2014. So far, we have published and adapted over 1,000 of tactile books, which the foundation loaned to schools and institutions with children with special needs. Furthermore, we collaborated with one of the largest theme parks in Europe on awareness of inclusiveness. Together, we have made a tactile book which is aimed at inclusiveness and improving the image of children with disabilities. The protagonists in this book are a boy in a wheelchair and a blind girl. Together, they fight the bad guys. Here on the photo, I visit a blind girl who tests the book, an elephant and a little man who think he's stronger than the elephant. The book of the theme park hasn't been released yet, but the announcement received primetime television and radio news. This resulted in a successful reach of 1/3 of the Netherlands. 1/3 of the Netherlands has heard about our book, promoting inclusiveness and literary. This was highly successful. My role at Picture Books Plus is more on the management side, and I do the turnkey assignments for adapted picture books. Some of my tasks include in educational creative parts of the project, total project management, and I'm also a publisher, which means I manage with the writer, illustrator, and printer. How I do this exactly, I will tell you later in my presentation. My presentation goes one step beyond easy read and aims to include people with a disability by adapting picture books accordingly. This presentation will consist of 3 sections around early literacy: the theory of early literacy, literary competence, supporting factors and hindering factors, book examples and use technology, and the results of pilot for people with intellectual disabilities. After each section, I will give a short recap. Before we begin, it is important to understand the difference between literacy and literary. Literacy has been commonly defined as the ability to read and write. Literacy is more basic, the ability to read words. So, literacy competence would be measuring the level of being able to read something, but not necessarily understanding the context and depth of what you are reading. So you can see literacy is I can read versus literary, I can understand. Literary, on the other hand, is a broader high-level term of written word. So literary competence would be the understanding of something what is written. again. So literacy is more just being able to read something, whereas literary would look at a higher level of understanding and analyzing. First, I will talk about the characteristics of literacy competence. Then I will talk about literary competence. And the last part of this section is about hindering factors for becoming a literate reader. Becoming early literacy competent. Now we will discuss the 3 categories of characteristics to becoming early literacy competent. One is functions of written language. The second is relationship between spoken and written language. And the third is language awareness. Category 1 of becoming literacy competent is understanding the functions of written language. The functions of written language are: children know that written language products such as bills, letters, books, and magazines have communicative purpose. Understanding symbols as language acts. Children know that symbols such as logos and icons refer to language acts. Awareness of permanence. Children are aware of the permanence of written language and the opportunities of signs and characters. Children are aware that signs and characters produce opportunities for communication. And the last one. Children know when the language acts reading and writing are involved. They know the distinction between reading and writing. Together, these 5 form the conditions of understanding, reading, and writing. Category 2 of becoming literacy competent is understanding the relationship between spoken and written language. Children understand that illustrations and text together tell a story and order of reading. They know that books are read from front to back, pages from top to bottom, and lines from left to right. In the Arabic, it's the other way around, from right to left. And see recording. Children know that spoken words can be recorded on paper and by audiovisual means. The third category of becoming literacy competent. Category 3 of becoming literacy competent is understanding language awareness. Written words can be spoken. Children know that written words can be spoken. Words as global units. Children can read and write words as global units. Examples: the child's own name and names of people, things are important to the child. Logos and brand names, for instance, the big M of McDonald's. Many children recognize them. Next one, distinguish words. Children can distinguish words in sentences. And the last one, form and meaning of words. Children can distinguish between the form and meaning of words. Now I have discussed the 3 categories of becoming literacy competent. And the next step is becoming early literary competent. Here you see literary competent. You've heard my story about becoming literacy competent. Now I will talk about becoming literary competent for story comprehension. To get story comprehension, you need narrative skills. There are 5 narrative skills. Here they come. Oh, they are mixed. Conclusions and predictions. Children understand the language of read aloud books. They are able to draw conclusions from a story read aloud. Halfway through, they can make predictions and how the story will proceed. That's very important, and I like that the most. B, story composition. Children know that most stories are composed of a situation outlined and an episode. A situation sketch provides information about the main characters, the place and time of action. In an episode, a particular problem occurs, which is then solved. And composition is even, there's always a beginning, a climax, and an end. Next, reenacting. Children can reenact a story read aloud while the teacher narrates. Please give them the opportunity to reenact. Retelling with illustrations. So this is early literary. Retelling with illustrations. Children can retell a story read aloud, initially with the support of illustrations. And the next step is children can retell a story read aloud without the use of illustrations. These are the 5 narrative skills you need for story comprehension to become literary competent. Okay, the ideal abilities for becoming a literate reader. In the ideal world, everybody has abilities for understanding literature. I've made a list. I split them up in 2 categories. The first category is environmental factors, and the second category is personal factors. Environmental factors include the ability to access books. For example, do you have books at home? Do you frequently visit libraries? And the child care facilities, do they have books? It's in their book. Do they have bookcases? Is there a moment on every day they read aloud? And personal factors. Which talent should have everybody to understand a story. Personal factors. The most important personal language development factors are intelligence and motivation. Intelligence is about remembering and producing vocabulary. The motivation is, do you have the motivation to read books? Are you curious to how the story ends? Ability to imagine. Do you have the ability to imagine? Can you visualize a story? And the mobility skills. Can you hold a book? Can you flip through the book? Can you grab a book from the shelf by yourself? These are the abilities for understanding literature. and this is, I think, the most interesting part for this day, the hindering factors for becoming a literate reader. What if? But what if you don't have all these abilities? What are your hindering factors for becoming a literate reader? Intellectual or cognitive? People of children who don't have the capacity to understand the meaning of a story. Language disorder. Children with a delay in express themselves or to understand, even they can hear and talk. Children with autism. They have problems to understand figurative language. Children with hearing problems. They haven't a big vocabulary as their peers. Children with a vision problem. They can't talk and hear, or they can talk and hear, but can't understand concepts like a horizon. Such language concepts are difficult to understand, to feel, to show. So yes, you need a special talent to explain such things to little children. These are the hindering factors for becoming a literate reader. Common problems. Problems with understanding for people with disabilities. What do people, these hindering problems have in common? They have common that they have problems with understanding body language. What does it mean when you are looking sad? How can I see you are looking sad? Figurative language. A tall man, he's like a big tree, but how big is a big tree? I don't know. Visual language. It's a sunny day. How can I see on an image? It's a sunny day. I see it, for instance, I see people eating an ice cream or wearing a swimming suit. That's visual language. Okay, the recap of section 1. This is the end of section 1. I will give a short recap. We talked about the difference between literacy and literary, categories of literacy competence, literary competence skills, abilities for understanding literature, hindering factors, and common problems. Section 2, book examples and used technology. In this section, I will talk about Picture Books Plus and our books. Remember the problems we have talked about in section 1. The solution is a multi-sensory picture book and a reading guide for the teacher. In this slide, I show one complete picture book set. A complete set consists of one picture book and includes the regular picture book, this one, the tactile picture book, a stuffed animal, to introduce the story, and a teacher's guide inside the book. Together, they form the tool to overcome the problems of being illiterate. This set has a multi-sensory approach which makes it so helpful and unique. The function of the tactile book is to trigger communication. On this picture, you see the tactile book on the left, the reading manual in the middle, and the original book. Also, you can see the tactile book is less complicated or overwhelming. That's what Martin Dobson just said this morning. It helps you to focus, he said. For instance, the mouse and the chipmunk are separated. They are separated so the disabled child can distinguish between the mouse and the chipmunk. Here you can talk about body language. The mouse is pointing. Does the chipmunk know what she means? In the reading manual, you can find instruction to show this body language. Now I will zoom in one of the techniques used here, more specifically the printing technique. I see here a problem. Okay. The printing technique has several benefits, but also some drawbacks. This technique is copyrighted by Picture Books Plus. The first benefit is a tangible structure, so the reader can get information not only by view and reading, but also by touch. We use multiple different surfaces to create a tactile drawing. The second benefit is the high quality of the book, by which the books are many times is reusable. The third benefit is that they are solid and easy to clean. Disadvantages are in the production process. The adapting is labor intensive and the printing process requires time. However, the advantages outweigh disadvantages by very, very, very much. Now I show you an example of how a book adaptation will go into work. This is a book of a famous painter in the Netherlands, Mondriaan. And in 2018, it was a Mondriaan year, and everywhere you came in museum or on schools, people, the subject was always, they talk about was Mondriaan. So we make large pictures, tactile pictures of his paintings, but that's aside this context of this presentation. So I will show you the adaptation of picture. This is the original illustration. The characters are too small, too detailed. There's not enough color contrast in the whole drawing. And there are many more criteria one should consider, but for time's sake, I will continue with a video where the illustrator works with the perspective for the tactile adaptation. So you see now this picture and you see in a minute the adaptation. So we get the original files from the publisher. And here you can see it's not longer with perspective, but it's two-dimensional. He's making it two-dimensional. What you can see is every line he has to change it, but the style remains. Where is the carrier? Okay. And this is the final result. You see a lot of white, and the figures are big, and we have made them completely tactile. So the recap of section 2. This is the end of section 2. I will give you a short recap. We talked about what a full set of picture books plus consists of, what makes the printing technique of picture books plus so unique and helpful, and finally an example of adaptation of an illustration. Section 3, the results of a pilot for people with intellectual disabilities. This is the third and final section of my presentation, and I will tell you all about the results of a pilot for people with intellectual disabilities. The goal of the pilot was to test accessibility to literature for people with intellectual disabilities by picture books. In other words, is there a way how to make a picture book accessible for them and how people can profit from picture books? The pilot project consisted of reading aloud for 10 weeks, twice a week, to people with intellectual disabilities living in an institute. These disabled people were very lonely because of the global pandemic. I developed a teaching series specific for people, for them. So I didn't just take a book out of the bookcase and start reading aloud, but made sure the books were offered in a structured way. Now I will give the key method behind the pilot, tell what you know. This is based on existing knowledge and memories of the participants. You can think about this like roof tile construction. You always build forward on a piece of existing knowledge. Tell What You Know uses children's literature as a means of connecting with adults with mild intellectual disabilities. The program appeals to the listener's existing knowledge. This increases pride and self-esteem. The separate roof tiles are similar to separate stories. Roof tile construction. Because of the similarities in stories, you can retrieve present knowledge. Do you remember? In the next few slides, I will show you a clip of the pilot. This was the first slide always. Then I present the new subject with an audiovisual trigger, and they have to guess what the subject is. and so on. Oh. Okay, and then I'll, when they guess what it is, I'll show a little act on YouTube. When I'm introducing the book of today, I link back to the previous book. What are the similarities and differences between these two books? What do you think the book is about this time? Do you see similarities between these books? Thinking about protagonists, characters, appearance, body language. For the listeners to this presentation, what's the body language? What's the similarity in body language between the first and the second book? Please notice it for yourself. Okay, I think the answer could be the people are strong. They will manage everything. Okay, and you see what I do now. And that's what we want. Reenacting the story. This is reenacting the story. Show you are strong. Okay. This is a slide of the book we read last time. This is the roof tile construction. In this series, Tell What You Know, titles keep coming back, zooming in on a different element from the book. In this way, you can appeal to the knowledge present. What tricks did the pigs perform with the wolf? And then, this is the book we are going to read today. Do you see they are performing tricks as well? In this book, we have made it by ourselves, and this is very special because we make photographs tactile. All our other books are drawings we make tactile. And the children of the circus were very helpful to make the position of their body so that it's understandable when you can only feel the picture. This is the end of the clip of the pilot, and in the next slide I will discuss the results of the pilot. Findings of the pilot. The findings of the pilot project are literary competence skills for people with intellectual disabilities are by story comprehension, conclusions and predictions. Conclusions and predictions by asking the right questions and repeating the questions in different terms, answers to questions such as what if, begin to emerge in the course. Story comprehension. Story composition. The fixed sequence of a story was difficult to discuss. When discussing the story afterwards, often only the climax of the story was mentioned. With some help by asking questions, the participants were able to tell what triggered the climax and how the story went afterwards. Reenacting. Due to COVID restrictions, this was difficult to apply. The idea is that during the process, the confidence for reenacting will grow. Retelling with illustrations. The illustrations were very helpful in retelling the stories by the participants. With this aid, they had less problems remembering the story. And what do you think about the last point? Retelling without illustrations. This is where the level difference between the participants became apparent. Some participants were able to recount fragments of the story or a name of a character, and others were able to retell the story in a structured way. By retelling a story in a structured way, they showed that they knew the story had a beginning, a middle, and an end. It was necessary that they needed more prompting, but this is understandable. This prompting consisted of asking a short question or recalling a setting or act of the story. The results of this pilot can be summarized by the following key factors. Referencing to own knowledge. Referencing to one's own knowledge increases in comprehension of the story. And repetition, there is a growth curve in story comprehension when stories are read aloud more often. Illustrations are necessary. The story can be retold more easily with illustrations because the sequences of the story is more clear and the illustrations help to memorize. Guidance. Oh, I see a type mismatch. Guidance is needed to understand the story well. The caretaker can achieve this by asking specific questions that begin with who, what, when, and where. This is the end of section 3. Now I will give a short recap. We talked about the roof, tile construction, that will be helpful to read aloud for people with intellectual disabilities based on previous knowledge. And we have heard about the tell what you know method. The results of pilot for people with intellectual disabilities, and I have discussed the factors enhancing literary competence in people with intellectual disabilities. So, the last slide. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation. I know it was a lot of information. If you want to know more, feel free to contact me. The most important message I want to transfer today is that we do not only need to adapt for easy read, but also need to improve literary competence of disabled people to create inclusiveness. Because we all want to live in a world where everybody should be able to understand each other. Thank you. Do you have any questions? But I think Mohammed is the...
Hi. Thank you, Khalid. It was really interesting and a very useful presentation. So, okay, I'll speak in Arabic. إذا في أي سؤال موجود عندكم برجاء نحطوه في الشات أو في الكيو اند اي اللي موجود تحت. أعتقد الترجمة كانت موجودة طول الوقت، أنا كنت بستمع للترجمة. مستر مايكل موكا أو ميشيل، كانت الترجمة موجودة. طيب. One of the environment factors. Mr. Muhammad Ziyara Kوليت is asking about the community awareness is one of the environmental factors. We can say that. Can we say that?
Excuse me, will you...
Can we say again, can we say that the community awareness is one of the environmental factors?
Yes, I think so, yes. We have to educate the caretakers, but also the community.
So I believe, yeah, it was there. طيب إذا في عندكم أي أسئلة بتحبوا تشاركوها معنا. Okay, could you please share with us the presentation? It will be on YouTube, Mr. Muhammad. It will be on YouTube after this session. I think next week will be, or the coming week, it will be on YouTube, the whole session. So you can go back to that to the recording, and you can check everything there.
محمد هي حاليا على اليوتيوب.
وهي حاليا هلا على اليوتيوب على كل الأحوال، فممكن ممكن ترجعوا لها. تمام. All right. We have 90 participants. That is good, huh? Okay. بنحب نعرف إذا في عندكم أي أسئلة أو أي استفسارات بتحبوا تسألوها ل Mrs. كوليت. طيب, I would like to discuss some few things with you, Ms. كوليت. I think the cost of producing this kind of books is really expensive, or is really high. Do you think it's easy to produce this kind of books? Because we need these kind of books, as I understood from you, that it's a must in a way. It's a must. It will help us in to understand more the situation exactly. But I'm thinking about the cost. I'm thinking about how we can cover the cost. What do you think about that? Awareness for whom?
From who? From the leaders of the principals of the schools. And inclusiveness is not only a problem for the family or the next related people, but it's responsibility for the whole community. And I think we have to make big companies aware that they what the opportunities for the whole community is when people have self-esteem. And I think we can motivate such big uitgaven, hoe zeg je dat? Big expensive. So I will ask for the strong people can help the people with disabilities. It's our responsibility to share knowledge and to share money.
Yeah. Okay. So with your work, how many, let's say, how many students every year can use these books with your work right now? I mean,
I don't know how many children there in charge are, but what we do is we loan the books to. We have over 500 loans each year, and that's growing now because hoe zeg je dat? We are more famous and we work on social media that schools. The more we are known, the more we are good loan, and the quality of the books is so very good. The books we received back, they are very good, and they go again to new children. And,
okay. So what do you do now? It's like you don't give the school the book itself, like they cannot own the book, but you
especially because there are more schools than there books are.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the Netherlands, for instance, there are 7,000 schools, and we have 15 titles, and each title is printed 50 times. So it isn't possible to reach every school at this moment. It's a goal, but it is yes, that's zeg ik het zo goed? Ja, oké. Wat zeg jij maar? This is great,
yeah. Because the regular schools try to give inclusive education. Most of a lot of regular schools have one or two pupils with disabilities. So the school has a need for a book for only a short time, because the child will grow and has needs for a book for bigger kids, for older kids. So for these schools, the loan system is ideal. Only for institutions for children with visual impairment, for instance, they have a permanent need for these books. So these institutions, they buy the books.
Okay, so what we are talking about, since the need of this book is not a continuous need, or what you and to cost to cut the cost, you produce the books, and you have the books, and you give the schools the books to use it during 1 week, 2 weeks, one month, whatever is the period. And they give it back to you, and the school will pay for you for the cost of the period, right? Period of boarding.
No. We are foundation, and
so you fund the production. You fund the production itself.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so you fund the production, but it's this service is available for the school. The school can take the book and return it again.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Okay, great. طيب, Dr. Rohi Abdat has a question. Do you think that we still need to print out books, or we convert to digital production with additional adaptations that suits different kinds of disabilities? So Dr. Rohi is saying that, do we really need to print out the books? You don't think that the technology now is enough? Can we depend on the technology? What do you think?
Yes.
Technologie nu zover is dat het ook allemaal digitaal kan.
No. Wat is uitloggen? You still no. You really need books, because this morning I received feedback from a speech therapist, and she said children took initiative and they pick up by themselves the books, and they ask, please read aloud this book. And when they are feeling the books, you start another communication, and that isn't by touching, and it isn't possible when you use only digital applications.
So you think that the printed books will help kids to express themselves and to develop their...
Yes, I've taught in my presentation multisensory information. So not only by hearing and by seeing, but also by touching, you get information from our books.
Okay. Okay, that's cool. Do we have more questions? Anyone? لو سمحتوا هل ستوفروا لنا نسخة مكتوبة باللغة العربية للورشة مادة علمية؟ لا للحقيقة يعني هي زمان. Yes.
May I say something?
Yes, sure.
The idea for Sharjah could be the library could have a big role in this loan system. So they should have a special bookshelf of tactile books, and they have to contact the schools, and I think that's an opportunity to yes to
Okay. Can we okay. I think I'm always thinking about the cost of the cost of the production. When I think about it, I feel like it's a little bit difficult for the NGOs without the support and the partnership with the private sector, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Mrs. Widad is asking, do you think these books are available in bookstores, or you just have it in the...
It should be, but they are very expensive, and at this moment our experience is there are not so many people who can buy it, and but it is possible. But the target group is too small and
to be economisch interessant te zijn.
Moet je dat zeggen?
Ja.
It's not interesting as
on commercial level.
A commercial company like a bookstore, because the revenues will be relatively low, because there's only one or two books sells in a month, perhaps, or even
Okay.
And that's the difficulty.
Okay, that's why we need a lot of support from the private sector, or a lot of funding from different organizations. طيب, there is another question from Ms. Trish. She said that I work with refugees, adult learners, who have no previous schooling or education, and who are literature in first language. I think your method, perhaps with some adoption, could be useful for these students. So would you agree?
Yes, I agree fully, because in our reading manual you get a lot of advice to introduce new words or body language, figurative language, and visual language. So you get a lot of stuff to discuss.
Interesting.
So
Okay.
this for refugees, it will be great.
Okay, could be a good method. All right. Miss Widad, Amazon مثلا. اوكي. I think ست وداد احنا جاوبنا هذا السؤال، او جاوبوه من عندهم، انه من الصعب انه هذه الكتب او هذا النوع من الكتب يتوفر في المكتبات، لانه انتاجه بيكون مكلف عادة، فبالتالي بيتم انتاج نسخة او نسختين، او يعني نسخ محدودة، فما بيتم تداولها تجاريا، واذا تم تداولها تجاريا فبتكون مكلفة للغاية، فبالتالي بيعها مش مجدي، فعادة ما بيكون موجود. بس ما بنعرف اذا احنا موجود هلا على، يعني في اي شيء موجود على امازون او اي جزئية تانية. بحب اذكر الجميع انه احنا في عنا مجموعة من من الورش اليوم، وهذه ثاني ورشة. كان في عندنا ورشة القراءة المبسطة، وهذه الورشة في عندنا ورشة ثالثة راح تكون عن الانكلوسيف بوكس أو الكتب الدامجة. وبكرة راح يكون عندنا فعاليات الملتقى، راح تشاركوا معنا على نفس الرابط. الورشة الثالثة راح تكون الساعة 5 بتوقيت الإمارات. حتى تستطيعوا الحصول على شهادات لهذه الورش والمشاركة بالملتقى، دائما فيكم تسجلوا وتدفعوا الرسوم الخاصة في الشهادات على الروابط اللي موجودة في الشات. Ms. Trish is asking, she has a following up question. How can I access your books if I am in Australia? And thank you for your talk and answer to my question. Okay.
Yes.
She's in Australia, so how she can get
Yes.
your books?
Please visit our website, www.picturebooksplus.com, and you can see there our books. At this moment we have 19 titles. 3 of them are in the English language. That's what I can say at this moment.
So can you share your
Yes,
website on the chat, please?
Yes. Okay, I will do in a minute. And I've analyzed the picture books of the Arabic picture books, the illustrations, and they are most of them are really perfect because they are not overproud. And they have perspective of a lot of the pictures are from sideways, and that's very good for us to adapt.
Okay.
So I see a lot of opportunities to adapt books, and I see the mix of text and image are perfect too. Not too much text, and that's really yes, that's really good for us.
Okay.
To adapt books, but that's okay. Now we are typing our website.
Okay, great. Interesting. طيب. عندنا كمان okay, the website is on the chat. You can check the chat and you can check the website if you need to any cooperation with Picture Books Plus. طيب.
And I will add some more information.
أيضا أريد الإضافة بأن ذكرت بأنك يمكنك الحصول على الدعم من القطاع الخاص. نحن هنا في هولندا يجب أن نقوم بكتابة ملخص كامل يتعلق بالفئة المستهدفة، ما هي الخطوط العامة لهذه المبادرة، ما هو المنظور الكامل لهذا المشروع، ما هي الفائدة المالية من هذا المشروع، وكأنه عرض كامل.
Okay.
And
yeah, to get money actually from
so
the private sector.
In the Netherlands, isn't it easy too? But today I received a message: we give you money for a fairy tale project. So it is possible.
It is possible, but it needs a lot of work from our side as well.
Yes,
so we need to do our homework with the proposal.
Indeed.
Which okay, great, great. طيب. Okay, I would like to ask you, do you have any samples now? You can show it to us.
Yes, please.
Yes, yeah.
Moet je even het gewone boek pakken? Nee, daar onderin, wat die rode.
Okay, I would like just to answer this question, please, Ms. Koolit, if you allow me. Ms. Trish, yes, we do have program today and tomorrow. Today we have another workshop at 5 p.m. UAE time. I don't know Australia time, how many hours we have difference between you and Sydney. I think too much. I think it will be like 5 a.m. for you. I'm not sure about that. But I think you need to check the timing. We have a workshop today at 5 a.m. and tomorrow we have a very we have the forum from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. UAE time as well. So it's now 8 p.m. So the difference is between us like around 6 hours. Yeah, it will be 11 p.m. I think your time. No, not 11 p.m. It will be 1 a.m. I think in your time if we are talking this evening. So yeah, today we have another workshop at 5 p.m. UAE time, and tomorrow we have a full day from 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. and both of them will be in English. The event today will be Arabic and English. Actually, we have the translation, and also tomorrow we have the translation for the whole event. We have 15 speakers tomorrow, and we have a lot of ideas to speak about it. Or to talk about it, and we have a lot of questions that we will answer. We will get answers for it tomorrow. So yeah, please let us know. By the way, to find the program, let me share the link. Wait a minute, please. I'm sorry, Kوليت, but I just need to share the link with everyone. Okay. Okay. Yes. This is the link in English. Trish, you can find it, and everyone can find it. This is in English and Arabic. You can try. You can change the language from our website. You can check our website and you can find everything, the whole details about our event, the whole sessions, and what kind of sessions we do have today and tomorrow. After this session, we have one session today, and tomorrow we will have another full day from 10 till 2. بتوقيت مصر بكره اعتقد الفرق بيننا ساعتين بتهيألي او 3 ساعات، فاذا بنبدا 10 انتم بتبداوا يعني حوالي 8 او 7. Okay. Yes. Kوليت. Yes. Show us the. Can you show? Yes, please. Something? Yes, please.
Okay. Do you recognize them?
Yes, yes, I do recognize them. Oh.
Okay.
Oh,
so
we have another.
This is always the start of a book. Mm-hmm. A stuffed toy, or in this case, finger toy. And I don't show the book at this moment. Okay. Yes, to you, but not to the children. I asked if they recognize the characteristics who will play a big role in the book. So this is the book.
Okay.
Little Red Riding Hood. This is the original book. And what you see here, this is, for instance, difficult to distinguish. And I will show you the tactile book. And you see the structure of the trees.
Oh, the texture will be like almost similar of the
yeah, this first.
Yeah.
I don't know. And here there are structure of leaves in the top. But I will show you the picture, which we have changed, so you can see what we do. This is the adapted, and this is the original. So you see we removed some trees to better feel the wolf.
Okay.
Do you see?
Okay. Yes, I can.
And everything is tactile. The letters are black, large printed.
Mhm.
And
And it's a braille as well, right?
And it is braille. What we always do is an extra to introduce. This is very helpful to introduce the characters of the book. We have an extra page with tactile, the heads in this case of the main characters. And wool. So that's this book. And here we have another book. But this is, for instance, the protagonist.
Okay.
Yes. And oh yes, that's what I was. And this is the book, the original book.
Mm-hmm.
See how crowded it is.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this is what we have done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you adapt the original book to a tactile book.
Indeed, indeed. Mm-hmm. And we are missing now hundreds of sheets. Okay. So we have here a reading manual. The reading manual is for the caretaker. Okay. Where she gets, or he gets advice. What should I have to discuss on the front cover?
Wow, it's a lot of work actually. You adopt a book which is exists already, and you do a guide for the teacher or the reader for each page. Okay.
We gave advice what you can discuss extra.
Okay.
And this is what we do with the book writing. Because we get advice from teachers and they say it's very kwetsbaar, fragile. So this is with PVC, the same material as the book, and they can lay it on their table. The first books we have glue it in the book, and they say, "Oh no, that doesn't work." So we are in progress.
Okay, okay.
And I'll show you the book of Mondrian, and we have also his paintings made tactile. So you can feel the trees, and I don't know if you anything knowing about art, but this is his first painting when he was young, a real tree, and this is a later painting. It's an abstract tree.
So it's another tool to give a chance for the blind kids to understand the art, to understand art.
Yes.
Since so, I'm very working like on a project, I always think about the cost of production. I always think about it. It's kind of a nightmare for me.
Yes, but we have to work hard to cover the costs. But it's we are now for 7 years in bedrijf.
But actually, I like your idea. You are talking about a very nice initiative. You take the fund from I don't know which organization, could be the government, could be a private sector. You do the production, which has the book itself, the tactile book, and the guide for the teacher. And also you keep the copies with you and you give it to the school for a specific time to use it and to get it back. And that will be without money for the schools. I like the idea. It's a very good idea actually to fund the project itself.
Working together with the schools, it's very important for us to get feedback. So every time when books came back, we need the feedback of the teachers because yes, we don't live on an island. We want to interact and improve
which is really important actually. When we work when we want to talk with people with disabilities or with kids with disabilities, we need to talk with them first. We need to understand what they need. If we want to work with the schools, we need to understand what they need. Actually, it's a very good point. Actually, it's a very valid point. We cannot take the ready-made projects as it is and comes from the sky, and that's it.
And that's even very important to get your subsidies. You have to, your funding, you have to tell about earlier experiences and what you have learned about your early experiences and how you solved have some problems, and that's also important. So yes. Okay.
That guides me for another question. Actually, when you pick the books which you do to do the adaptation for these books as a tactile books, how you pick the books? Why these books? Why these titles?
Oh, it's very good. Yes, that's where I have studied for.
Okay.
We have a list of things, but one of the most important things are the words that are used in the books. Are they special? Because I think we need to give some extra, not the regular words you've used all day, but the words that are special and not to use by yourself, but to understanding the world around you. The world around you used sometimes difficult words, and so that's one thing. The number of the words is very important, not too much. And then the illustrations, the original illustrations. Less is more for us, and we don't want to change the composition of the illustrator. So we are looking, is this, I think, do I have a book? Now at this moment, I can't say that this moment. It's some pictures are too difficult to adapt and to give and to hold the same message. So I can simplify every picture, but then you lose information. So if the adaptation and the original book are the same, you don't lose some information. Do you understand?
Yes, I do understand. It's really important. Before I go to another question about the copyright, actually, because I know the illustrators and the artists, they are always like, very protective when they talk about their artworks. So can you tell me one of the funny stories about that, how you deal with them?
Oh, yes. I've tried several things. I've tried to, one time we don't wait. We have permission. Always we need permission. But one time we get permission and but we didn't get the files, the original files from the publisher. So this was a big mistake from us. What did we do? We scanned the book and we adapted our scans. And then we get a big problem, and the permission was over because we didn't use the right color. color was exactly the same, and
because you used the scanned pictures, you didn't use the original one or the original file.
The original
so the quality
after.
Yeah,
afterwards.
So that, okay.
And so, but that was a mistake, and we've learned from that. It's you ask a story, easy? But so important this is. Yes, and I another. So now we wait always, and we for the files. So if it's if there is any delay, then there is a delay. So we can't make it quicker.
Okay.
And there was another option. We have made a storybook with our illustrator himself. And I say, you think maybe, oh, that's easy. You said he can design and he made exactly the right pictures. But that isn't so difficult. That is so difficult because my perception of the Three Kings, it was a Christmas tale, is and their clothes is so different, was so different as his perception and his idea. So that's it is at the end it is a beautiful book, but
there is a clash between your concept and his artificial
indeed.
The artistic idea.
And then we have another option. I contacted the publisher and he said, okay, but the illustrator of the original book would like make the adaptation by himself. Okay. Yes, and if you're not educated, it's very, very difficult to. So this was a big struggle, but again, it is at the end, it is a beautiful book. But it's not a process for. We planned for 6 weeks and it's finished in 6 weeks now. Never. I see. Is it easy to get the permission from the publishers? Because when I think about it, if I'm the publisher, I will think about it. Okay, this kind of project will take from me the profit of selling my book in a way, because the kids will think. We give always to the tactile book always the original book. Okay. So we sell, in our case, 50 books from the, that's no problem, I think. But they have a contract with a limited edition. They said, okay, we give permission for 50 books or 100 books or 150 books. And you can't sell them. Okay, I understand. طيب, there is another question in Arabic. كيف يمكن التقليل من خطر العدوى بكورونا بسبب اعتماد مستخدمي هذه الكتب على اللمس? He is asking about during the corona situation, how we can use these books, since we need to use them, we need to touch the books. Oh yes, it's very good. Because a teacher of a blind student asked me for two books, two picture books plus sets, one for the child and one for herself. Okay. And then she guides by Zoom session the child through the book. She can see what the child do. Okay. And at the same moment, she said to the little boy, hey, can you feel the mouse, or can you feel the nose, or can you feel... Do you understand? Okay. Yeah, I do understand. So we need two copies, one with the teacher and one with the students, and the teacher will guide the student how to use the book or how to read the book. Yes. Okay, great. Before ending this session, do you have more questions, ladies and gentlemen? قبل ما ننهي هاي الجلسة, في حدا عنده أي أسئلة? Oh yes, I see. Interesting. And do you work with books from different countries? Asked somebody.
Where is this question?
Yes, I saw
The chat?
in the chat.
Okay, I think I missed some few questions. Yes, what is the question?
The question was, do you work with books from different countries? Yes. This book was original French edition, and the Belgian publisher said to me, please ask the original publisher for permission. And so they were very happy with our adaptation. I received last week their email, but it was very difficult to reach them. I visited the Frankfurter Buchmesse at the end. I mailed for many times, and I called them, and not the right person on the right moment was in the office. But the Frankfurter Buchmesse, I'll take some books with me, and they say, okay, I will cooperate with you. So yes, we.
This is originally an English title.
Yes, and this we have also adapted.
This was originally a German title.
Yeah. Okay, so that's one new message. I can look also. There's also a problem with the sound. Oh, that's pretty.
Okay. Manana Al-Qasimi, she is asking if we can give her the titles of the books with French language. Do you have any?
No. We have permission for a original French book in the Dutch language.
Ah, okay. Okay, so you adopted the translated one.
But I think if there is a lot of interest, a lot of interest.
In the French version.
In the French version, everything is possible, but
the drawings are already adapted, so just the text would have been rewritten in Braille, the French text, and then we could publish it in French.
Okay. I think I have a comment here. I think you need to turn on your translation because I will read it in Arabic. Okay. مرحبا أو سلام. أنا مربية مختصة من مؤسسة غسان كنفاني.
I am a personal caretaker from Ghassan Kanafani establishment. We use the 3D printed pictures that we can use in the stories and creative stories with children of disabilities, especially with sensical and vision disabilities that they can.
Organizations in Lebanon, I believe, called Ghassan Kanafani organization. They use the tactile books and they add some audio and visual and some audio and visual tools maybe, to help them to help the kid to understand the whole story and to connect everything together. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's just a comment from her to tell her to
show you another book of hers with included audio.
This is one of the advantages of the online meetings, because you have everything in your room, so you can use it.
It's ideal. So I can ook het Engelse kerstboek pakken, Engelse boek pakken. What we have is here are a few words. The complete instruction is when you scan this.
Oh, it's the barcode. When you scan the barcode,
you can hear.
Yes,
it's complete description.
Oh, okay.
Nee, maar je moet het Turks-boek hebben, het Engels. I will show you the English book. Heb je QR-code? This is our translated book. And here, ik weet niet of hij het doet hoor.
Dit moet toch de...
Pagina? Doet hij het? Okay, but you understand the concept.
My name's Eva and I'm 9. In the photo, I'm acting as though I'm really clumsy.
Do you understand?
Nearly dropping a big
Yes.
pile of crockery. In my hands, I'm holding a plate, a muffin mold, a bowl, 3 cups, a size
And this
plate,
is
another
also
bowl,
with structure.
a plastic cupcake mold, and another cup.
So once you scan the barcode, the whole audio text will, you can hear the whole audio text.
You can hear the whole
Yeah. Okay, great. طيب, thank you again, Kوليت, for the interesting session. The workshop was amazing, and we got a lot of information, and we got a lot of we learned a lot from your experience, actually. So thank you again. I'll speak in Arabic now. بدي أشكركم جميعا على وجودكم معنا ومشاركتكم معنا خلال هذه الورشة. بنحب نأكد مرة ثانية إنه إحنا في عنا فعالية اليوم كمان الساعة 5 مساء. في عنا فعالية غدا من الساعة 10 للساعة 2 بتوقيت الإمارات، وهو الملتقى، وفي عدد من المتحدثين وفي عدد من الجلسات والفعاليات المهمة جدا 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 برأيي. المتحدثين حيكونوا من دول مختلفة من العالم، فالتجربة نفسها راح تكون مثيرة وراح يكون في كتير مواضيع نحكي فيها. بتمنى انكم انتم اذا بتحبوا تحصلوا على شهادات تشاركوا معلوماتكم على الروابط الموجوده في الشات. باكد مره ثانيه انه احنا بحاجه جدا 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 انكم تقيموا هذه السيشن مره ثانيه او هذه الجلسه مره ثانيه. برجوكم انكم تقيموها، لانه تقييمكم راح يخلينا نتعلم ونستفيد من
to improve on our services that we are providing to you in the future sessions, and will help us know what you need more, and it will help the Sharjah humanitarian services, Sharjah City humanitarian services, to help more in a better way. The link is in the chat box. You can participate.
الملتقى. أهلا وسهلا فيكم مرة ثانية بفعاليات ملتقى المنال ببساطة القراءة المبسطة والإعاقة، وشكرا جزيلا لكم على وجودكم معنا. شكرا 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 شكرا، وبتمنى أشوفكم في الورشة الأخيرة اليوم الساعة 5 وإلى اللقاء. Thank you, Kوليت, again, and see you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
باي. شكرا لكم والى اللقاء. مع السلامه.